Punching Up, a Nintendo podcast, is brought to you by you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 36 of Punching Up, Last Stand Media's bi-weekly Nintendo podcast. I am your host, filling for Dustin from Eliza Way, Brad Ellis. Joining me this week is Gene Park. How you doing, buddy?
Good. It is good morning, everybody. It is Zelda Echoes of Wisdom Review Day.
That's right.
So everyone go check out the Metacritic. My review should have dropped at 8 a.m. this morning. That should have been the embargo time. Good game, but we'll talk about it more later.
Yeah, I'm very excited to hear your thoughts. Very excited. No Micah this week, unfortunately. She is feeling under the weather, so we will carry on without her. But shout out to Micah. We miss her.
Just the boys today. Yeah.
Just the boys. Just you and me, Gene. We've had a lot of I feel like you and me have had quite a few episodes where it's just you and me on things.
That's right.
I know we did a summon sign before. It was just you and me.
Oh my god!
I think maybe one other thing.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of like one-on-ones lately.
Yeah, it's like
I did that with Jaffe too.
Oh yeah, you did the God of War thing, or Wukong.
God of War and Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that LSM community is enjoying my redemption of Black Myth Wukong, because I had some pretty bad thoughts on it early on, and then I played more in the game and I understood the game better. So yeah. I'm still wanting to finish my second run, but right now I'm kind of getting distracted by a lot of things, Zelda included. So
yeah, it's the season is here, the review season. So there's plenty to play.
It's gonna be a busy next few weeks. Not too much though. I think November is pretty chill, right? So
I want to say there's something, Gene, but I can never remember what it is. So
there's like one thing, but I forgot what it is, and yeah.
I'm gonna want to. Oh, there's Dragon Quest, I guess, but
Dragon Quest, that's huge.
That's probably huge, for us. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's something that everyone's screaming about. Yeah. But whatever, it's fine. But yeah, it'll just be you and me again. A little more intimate episode, which I do like the intimate episodes every now and then. It's a nice change of pace. Before we end the show, everybody, please check us out on patreon.com/laststandmedia. If you'd like to support us there, we'd greatly appreciate it. Also, leave us a nice rating on your podcast service of choice. Help us grow. That'd be great. We'd appreciate that as well. Also, laststandmedia.store, I think, is the merch website. I can never remember. I don't have it in front of me, but you guys can find merch there. You can figure it out. And we got a quick warm-up question. So, Mike, this was for Micah, but Micah's not here. But we will just do it in place of Micah, all right? This is from Bert Fackner, the Mancrawler. Hello there, box enjoyers. This one is for Mother. Which Pikmin color would you like to have an army of in real life? Pikmin color for Micah to have in real life. I'm going to say I'm going to guess yellow, because she had a yellow car before. I hear cats purring. Very nice.
Yeah, really loud.
Really loud.
I'm glad the audience heard that, but yeah.
Yeah, Jack is pleased. I'm just gonna say yellow Pikmin, because I think she likes yellow, and they're easy to spot. You don't lose those suckers. They're easy to see. But what color would you pick?
I feel like black or white would be pretty intimidating. Just a sea.
That's true.
Just a void out of white or black. You know.
When did they add white Pikmin? Were they in the original?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I've never actually finished a full Pikmin game, too.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, my favorite color is purple, but I feel like an army of purple Pikmin wouldn't be as intimidating as either just white or black. So,
man, if I saw Pikmin running around in general, I think I'd be intimidated. Especially, what if they were like just bigger too for some reason? Her little army, because Pikmin are extremely tiny. They're like the size of like ants or something close to that, I guess. Maybe a little bigger than ants, but they're delightful. Yeah, I've only ever finished Pikmin 1 back on the GameCube, but I know people loved 4 particularly. One day, that's kind of like my blind spot, I guess, in a lot of Nintendo first parties, the Pikmin series.
Same here. Fire Emblem too. But
Oh yeah,
Pikmin is definitely my Miyamoto blind spot
yeah.
because Miyamoto loves Pikmin and he's very proud of it. And I feel bad that I haven't played it. I haven't played much of it. I did play quite a bit of Pikmin 4, maybe a couple of hours, but I never got
Hmm.
to finish it. So I feel bad
Yeah.
about that. Pikmin 4 was delightful. Looks really cool. Really good graphics. So yeah, probably during the holidays when it gets slower. That'll be a cozy holiday game for sure.
Oh yeah, that'll be a really good holiday
Mhm.
game. My holiday game is going to be Infinite Wealth. I
Oh
finally got
damn,
it. I bought it. I installed it. So now it'll be there looking at me constantly every time I turn my PlayStation. So it will happen.
that's a damn
Because
good
yeah,
holiday game actually.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one
Any like
to
Yakuza Like a Dragon game is always great for the holidays.
the,
But that
the, the
means,
the side quests. I don't know which game has more ridiculous side quests or more overindulgent side quests. Infinite Wealth or Rebirth. I think it's pretty tough because Rebirth has like the quantity, right?
mhm,
Like I just feel like
there's
it's
a lot.
well, I don't know if it's even much bigger because Infinite Wealth is about like 120 hours long too. If you
Yeah.
want to complete everything. And Infinite Wealth has like the Pokemon Snap game, and then the Animal Crossing game, and then fucking
Oh my
Pokemon
goodness.
games.
So
Um,
much, dude.
so yeah, it definitely has bigger mini games than the Rebirth. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like
But I can't.
Queen's Blood is the
Oof.
biggest in Rebirth, right? But
Queen's Blood is actually awesome. So I love it.
Queen's
I
Blood
was
is
always,
awesome. So
I was so stoked to always get new matches.
mhm.
So good. But yeah, Infinite Wealth, I can't wait to get to it. Then we got the Pirate one coming up after that. The
That's
new Pirate Majima game.
I wasn't that excited until I saw him do like the aerial combos, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is different." Okay, I'm very very excited for that, for
Yeah,
that
hell yeah.
combat system in particular. So let's go.
Yeah. It's going to be probably sick. But yeah, I got to
Mhm.
get through Infinite Wealth first. I won't watch the trailer until I finish Infinite Wealth because I
That's
don't want to get
right. That's
spoiled.
why you're finishing Infinite. Well, also that's cool. Okay,
Yeah. But
yeah,
then I'll be
yeah. You
caught
you
up
would
with
need
the
to
series.
for sure.
Yeah. And I'll be caught up, ready to go. All right, Gene, let's talk about something that was very surprising to me, and I'm sure many other. Freedom Wars is coming back. The old PS Vita game. I know some people I know Colin enjoyed this game a lot. I actually never played Freedom Wars. I missed the
Mhm.
boat on it. But my understanding is it's like stage based, I think.
Mhm.
Like almost like a Monster Hunter kind of thing. You go
Yep.
out on a mission and you come back. Did you play
Yep.
these games back in the day?
I did not play it back in the day, but I have played it since. I haven't played
Okay.
much of it, but it was good. I just it's because of the fact that it's on the PS Vita, and I haven't really honestly played that much Vita over the years.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this is very exciting. It is like a Monster Hunter like with guns, and that's cool. And I think a lot of people who just look at the gameplay on the surface don't really understand it. But yeah, this is a fun game, and it was very very shocking, and it was interesting to see both Colin and Greg, Greg Miller of Kind of Funny pop off for it. Clearly, those two guys played this shit together. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
What's really interesting about it is it's being published by Bandai, but it
yeah.
was originally published by Sony Computer Entertainment and developed by Dimps, it's a Japanese student, other studios like Studio Japan and Shift Up. So it's definitely got a lot of that Sony DNA in there.
Hmm.
But I guess Sony just
Shift
doesn't
Shift Inc.
Shift
Yeah,
Inc. Yes. What did I
yeah.
say? Shift Up.
Shift up, yeah, which is totally
Not
fine
them.
because I have Stellar Blade on my mind recently too. So
But yes, it is being brought back. Very surprising. Very cool. I guess Sony is not going to really do anything with the IP. So Bandai's like, hey, we'll do something with it. And they're totally fine with that. So I'm really happy to see this come back. I definitely want to check it out. It's going to be on PlayStation, PC, and Switch. No Xbox, though. So I'll be checking this out. Gene, are you going to revisit it when this version comes out?
yeah, I definitely will. I think it's definitely a game to get on physical, but yeah, I also have it on Vita too, so I might even just play, I think I might even just almost
Play it
prefer
there.
to play it in the original platform first,
Sure, yeah.
just for
But
some a
does it
little
have like
respect.
online servers still or anything like that? Probably not.
Probably not,
Be
but
kept-
it's fine. Whatever.
Okay. But yeah. Feel good announcement, in my opinion. Very stoked to see that.
Mm.
All right. Next thing we got are 4 new titles coming to Super Nintendo Online, the Nintendo Switch Online. We got Battletoads Double Dragon, which I'm pretty excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Big Run, Cosmo Cosmo Gang, not Cosmo Canyon. Cosmo Gang, the puzzle. And how do you say this?
Kunio-kun.
Kunio-kun Dodgeball.
Mm-hmm.
A Japanese-only game, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually looks kind of cool, man.
It's dope.
It's like a dodgeball game. There's people dying in it. It looks like so.
Yes. So let me explain Kunio-kun Dodgeball.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, it's a dodgeball game that's with superpowers. So each country will have like a specialty that they're good at, and like the Russians will throw the ball really, really fucking hard. But yeah, there are special moves that you can do. You can throw the ball in like a curved wave form, like a Mega Man or like a Metroid Samus ball, whatever. Just going, and then the other opponents will die. They turn into angels. It's pretty intense, and yeah, they're playing to kill there. They're playing to kill in Kunio-kun Dodgeball. I played the game a ton, not the Super Nintendo version. So I'm actually really, really excited to try out the Super Nintendo version. But I played a ton on the original NES. And Kunio-kun are the River City River City Ransom guys, the original characters of Double Dragon before Double Dragon ever happened. So. Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Oh, there we go. What were the Double Dragon guys' names? Billy and Jimmy, is it? I think
Bimmy and Jimmy, yeah.
Something.
Bimmy and Jimmy was a misspelling. Yeah, it was Billy and Jimmy. Yeah. But before Billy and Jimmy, it was Kunio-kun. Kunio-kun is the original beat 'em up hero. He was he is the one that all beat 'em up games are. So Battletoads and Double Dragon. That's is the Kunio-kun descendants of Kunio-kun. Battletoads and Double Dragon. That's huge too. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, man. I haven't played that game in so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I always enjoy Battletoads. Did you ever play the reboot that we got a couple years ago? The Xbox one?
I did. I loved it.
Oh, you loved it? I just remember it being okay, but I'm glad to see Double Dragon or Battletoads, especially, still thriving in some regards.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't really like the Xbox One, but I thought it was really, really funny. I thought they made the Queen really, really funny and cute, and you know, I thought the story was actually pretty interesting. That Battletoads were actually locked away for all these years. You know?
Yeah,
it's fun.
Oh, also, there's this. Just for anyone listening, Cosmo Gang looks like the puzzle is like, of course, a puzzle game. Looks like you're stacking some blocks. They look like almost explosive blocks or something. I don't know how it works, but you know. You stand there, you got blocks, you stack them up kind of game. Stuff breaks. Yeah. No, it looks like there's a Big Run, a rally game. So it's Super Nintendo racing game. Looks kind of cool.
Yeah, pretty good collection here, man. I would recommend everyone check it out. I didn't even hear about this until just now. So
yeah, dude, not bad. Yeah. I definitely will check out Battletoads.
For sure. I remember Battletoads. Well, Battletoads was so hard, right? Yes. So I remember really being excited for Battletoads Double Dragon because I like Battletoads still. But when I played it, I was like, oh, this is so much easier than Battletoads. Thank you. Yeah, it's actually balanced. Battletoads for NES is an absolutely shit show of difficulty. So
yeah, it's insane, dude. Battletoads is so difficult, but that's just the way some games were back then. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Next we got. Let me write this down. Tales of the Shire. This is that kind of Animal Crossing looking game from, I forgot the actual studio behind. I'll find it in this trailer, but it's like an Animal Crossing game taking place solely in the Shire, where you're a bunch of hobbits living your life, doing a bunch of stuff. And I wanted this on here because of Micah, but unfortunately Micah couldn't be here today. But I was curious what she would think. It's coming now. It got delayed. It's coming March 25th next year now. And I think it looks kind of jolly. Like, I don't know if I'm going to play this or anything, but I could see it being a very cozy game and just relaxing in the Shire. Because I love the Shire. I'm a big fan of it. I would love to hang out there and just relax all day. Gene, what about this? Does this do anything for you?
Yeah, it's still a bucket list of mine to travel to New Zealand, if only to just visit the Shire set, which I can't believe that they still have up, and you can just go there and check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did see this the trailer for Tales of the Shire trend on Twitter for or X or whatever for all the wrong reasons because people were trying to cancel it for being too woke because like the people in the trailer seem to have purple hair. It's like, come on, guys, just relax, man.
Yeah, just relax, dude.
Yeah,
That's a
they're
little
just talking
far.
about the fucking Lord of the Rings, man. Like
Yeah.
stop basing, like you're literally basing, you're making so many judgments based on looks.
Yeah.
I get it, but like maybe calm down and just like fucking
Yeah.
listen to what the game's about because the game
Yeah.
looks really interesting.
Yeah. Just relax.
Yeah.
Now, I do wonder, Gene, if there'll be anything like dangerous out coming in the Shire. Maybe a wolf comes in or something like that, or an orc stumbles
hmm
in every now and then. You got to defend yourself.
hmm
I wonder if they'll do anything like that, or if they'll just keep it 100% peaceful, stress
I
free
think
kind of thing.
it'll be cute to have it just peaceful, just have beers and smoke the weed.
Yeah, smoke weed, plant crops, I guess,
Hmm
raise chickens or something. Decorate, dude. I'd be stoked actually to decorate your hobbit hole.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Very cozy. Yeah, and it looks like there's like some mechanics tied into eating, of course, which makes sense. I wonder
hmm
if they're eating something in the trailer and like getting a bonus almost or something. So that
hmm
makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
Fishing, all that good
It'll be
stuff.
funny if they have like all these like 8 different ways times of the day to eat too.
Oh my god, you're right. That would be so good, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit. But yeah, it looks really peaceful. We'll keep an eye on and see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. Also, another smaller news item, but still very cool to me. Blasphemous 2 is getting DLC and it's launching October 31st. Now, first of all, Gene, have you played any of the Blasphemous games?
Now, when you said this, I originally thought that you said Last of Us 2 is getting DLC. And
No.
I was like, oh my God. What are you gonna do next? The state of play would have aired by now. It would have been really funny if you predicted it.
Yeah.
Or we accidentally predicted it here on the Nintendo show.
Oh no.
But I will say Last of Us 2 DLC is a lot more exciting than Days Gone Remastered.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I never actually finished Days Gone. I only ever started like the first like 5 hours, like the quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote bad part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got filtered out. But I've always been interested in getting back in because I always keep hearing from people I trust saying like, "Hey, the game is actually really really interesting mechanically. I think you'll find a lot of interesting things in it." And so like I trust that. But
Yeah.
the whole John Garman thing, it just turned me off from the whole game, because it's like, man,
Oh,
the
sure.
guy's imprints are all over the game, and the whole time I'm just gonna be thinking about how salty he is. So it's like, like I don't think he understands like how much damage he's doing to his own game, like especially for people who want to like play good faith. But to answer your original question, Brad, I've never played the
No, no,
Blasphemous.
no. I love this. Hold
Yeah,
on. Let's go back to Days Gone because I think Days Gone's a cool game with many flaws, though.
yeah,
Many flaws. But it's definitely worth playing, in my opinion, Gene. For the horde mechanic alone,
yeah.
the horde zombies are really cool, really fun. And yeah, the beginning of the game is the slowest part. It's also a pretty long game, if I remember
hmm
correctly.
hmm
But if it's $10, Gene, or whatever for the upgrade, I'd check it out. I'd recommend checking it out. If it's like
Yeah.
full price, nah, you're probably fine. Because they did
I
a
mean, I
PS5.
have the game on PC. I have the game on
Oh, okay,
PC and
cool.
PS4, so
Oh, you're
I've been
good
ready to
then.
go. And yeah, again, like you, I trust you. And what you're saying is literally echoing what everybody else says too.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, the horde mechanic is great, and there's a lot of interesting things in it, and it doesn't really fully flesh out until towards the end of the game, or at least in the back half of it. And it's like,
right.
yeah, like you play around with it at the beginning, it's like, oh, that's okay. But
Mm-hmm.
I really want to see all the systems at play. So I don't know. If I wish John Garver would just chill out. So but
Yeah,
yeah. I've never played the Blasphemous games though. They've always looked interesting, but I've been getting tired of Metroidvanias over the
yeah,
years.
I get
There's
that.
been so many of them, and like fucking like it is like the indie genre to go to, right? It's like
Yeah.
shoegaze rock. Like, like eventually I just get tired of it. And it's like I need like a different mood, or I just need a different vibe.
Yeah.
So but Blasphemous has always looked interesting. So it's always been on the back burner for me. So maybe.
Yeah. I think it's one of like it should be in the higher echelon of Metroidvania games.
Yeah.
They're very good, and especially the art and the world they're set in are super fascinating. They're all based off like Spanish, like Catholic stuff, like a lot of that throughout the game. Really fascinating, very disgusting games also, but
Mm-hmm.
in great ways that I really love. And they're super tight. They feel great to move around in. They're awesome. But yes, Blasphemous 2 is getting paid DLC called Mia Culpa. I don't know how you'd say that in Spanish. Mia Culpa. Launching October 31st on Halloween. 2 massive new zones and 2 new bosses, 4 new NPCs, new alternate ending, priced at $12 with an extra 20% off at launch, which I love. That's very generous. I love when a game comes out
That's
or
dope.
something and you get a little discount if you're there early.
We never see that. A discount
Yeah.
at launch? That
Yeah.
never happens.
It's great, yeah. And there's also free DLC coming out, I believe, that same day. That includes New Game Plus mode, along expanded zones, new challenges, new prayers, additions to accessibility, and numerous quality of life updates. I think prayers are like spells, I want to say. I'm trying to remember correctly. But 2 new bosses. I imagine some of the bosses in these games can be quite challenging. And I imagine, but they're really, really cool fights. So I'm really curious to see those. I don't know if I'll get to this right away. I beat Blasphemous 2, I want to say, when did it come out? Like a year ago or something like that, maybe? I played it when it came out, but it was great. And some awesome bosses in there. So this is very interesting to me, but I just don't know when I'll get to it. But shout out Blasphemous 2. Awesome game. Awesome sequel. Love to see it happen. Also, today there was just this like Sonic presentation going on a couple hours before we started filming this, and they were just talking about a couple Sonic things and like promos with Sonic. Nothing really new from a game standpoint. There's some Sonic DLC in some games, like that Super Monkey Ball game we saw. There's like a some sort of like golf thing they're doing with like a golf company. I don't really know what that's all about, but there's going to be this game called Sonic Rumble, which looks like Sonic Fall Guys, essentially. And it's coming to PC and mobile only for now. I assume it'll come to consoles later on down the line, but Gene, how do you feel about Sonic Fall Guys?
That sounds like a pretty interesting concept. Sonic, after all, was pretty early on in the mobile space,
Right.
on the unlimited, the infinite runner genre.
Mm-hmm.
The one that was later spawned the wildly popular Subway Surfers genre. But Sonic was there first, so Fall Guys is a pretty interesting concept. Fall Guys is still pretty fun.
Yeah, Fall Guys is fun.
Yeah, I'll have to check out the Sonic Cat because as you know, I am LSM's resident Sonic fan, but I didn't check out this because I wasn't expecting anything big either.
Yeah,
but
you
it's
and
always fun to
Maddie.
check out what stupid Sonic merch is out there too. So
Yeah,
like this fucking golf tournament, like why not?
Yeah, exactly. I think this game looks honestly okay, Gene. I think it looks all right. Like,
Yeah.
they still got some of the Sonic elements in here, some of like running through the loops and all that kind of stuff, which is great. I saw that. I'm looking at this character roster. Hold on, dude. Okay, so we got Big the Cat, so that's a bonus right away.
Oh, huge.
That stupid cat in here. They got Vector. I remember that some of these guys from Sonic. What was it called?
Right.
Sonic Worlds, was that it?
The
Wii U game or something, or Lost World or something. I'm trying to remember. But a lot of these like Sonic characters, I just like don't even give a fuck about any of them. Like Charmy, he's like a bee? I don't know. Cream, she's like a bunny.
Oh, they got Cream the rabbit. Oh my god.
Yeah. You got Silver.
Okay, yeah.
Metal Sonic though. And you got Zavok. Zavok, I think he was from the Lost World game or whatever it's called.
Who can the classic character Zavok?
Yeah,
yes,
classic Sonic character. Oh yeah,
yeah. Cream the Rabbit though. Cream the Rabbit is a classic. So
Well, she might have been in the fighting game, right? Sonic R, I think it was. Oh no, that's the racing game. I forgot the Sonic fighting game was called, but
She was in Sonic Advance 2.
okay. I never
Yeah.
played the advanced games. I heard they were great though, but I've never played them.
They are actually one of some of the better 2D Sonic games for sure.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they're not made by Sonic Team, and they're animated beautifully. That's the difference.
Wow,
They're completely like different sprites for Sonic Advance.
That's
So
cool.
So nice.
I have to check those out.
Yeah.
SBO, I think I've seen that guy from the fighting game as well, and of course
SBO.
Rouge the Bat. Rouge the Bat, we all know from Sonic
Rouge the
Adventure
Bat,
2.
yeah. Sydney Sweeney, right? In Sonic in the Sonic universe.
Yeah. Looks like get a bunch of different. You can get some different outfits for them. It looks like there's one they show with Sonic wearing a pirate outfit. Same with Shadow. He's got an eye patch, and Tails is dressed up like Sherlock Holmes. This looks kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all the cosmetics you're gonna want to pay for. I don't know. I think it looks okay. I think because there's like it's interesting, Gene, because it is 3D like Fall Guys, but there's also 2D sections where it's like the more traditional Sonic angle. So I'm kind of into that.
Yeah, and they look cute too. They're like little chibi versions of them too. You know?
Yeah, it could be fun.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised it's not even on Switch though, or something like that.
It'd be cool
Day
to
one,
on
but
Switch, yeah, but
PC and mobile for now. So we'll see how it goes. Dude, I might check this out on PC just like a couple times at least to see what's about. It's a weird idea. But,
yeah, I have all the Sonic games on mobile. Like I have a bunch of them on my iPhone. So.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Sonic Dash, you know. Yeah, Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces mobile. I love that one too.
Damn, yeah, Sonic. I was kind of hoping we'd see like a new big Sonic game, but maybe they're just not ready for that yet.
No Sonic Frontiers 2 or whatever. Yeah.
No, not yet. I'm curious about that.
That's
they
okay.
Sonic Frontiers has some. If they do Sonic Frontiers 2, they have so much potential.
Yeah, they should not abandon the Frontiers template for sure.
No, not yet. Hopefully, one day we'll get Adventure 3 as well. With
that's a big one.
The Chow Garden. But maybe one day. All right, Gene. It's time to talk. You have been playing The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. You have finished the game. Your review is out by the time people hear this. Let's talk about it, Gene. I'm very curious. I don't know too much about the game, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts about it.
Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, in my review, I gave it 3.5 out of 4 stars. I actually fucking love this game, and I was very close to giving it 4 stars. But I can talk a little bit about. I think the straight up, I think Zelda is really overpowered. She's incredibly, absurdly powerful, and that is actually my headline. That in her first starting role, Zelda is absurdly hilarious and strong. She is so overpowered. The whole premise of Echoes of Wisdom is that you're playing as Zelda, right? And she has infinite magic and limited sword power, which is actually the inverse of Link, who has unlimited sword power and limited magic power. Turns out having unlimited magic is really, really fucking strong. And there you can't see. So here's the thing. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is not Tears of the Kingdom and it's not Breath of the Wild. You can't sequence break the game. You can't do everything. You can't just go to the last boss right away.
Right.
You know, you can't just go there armed with copies of with the ability to copy beds and chairs and just go to the final boss. Like that's not going to happen. So what people might be fascinated by is that this is a grand return to the Zelda formula that they enjoy that was really started by Link to the Past, where you're going through dungeons and you're progressing through them and you're gaining powers through the dungeons, and you need those powers within the dungeons to be able to pass them, and then you use those powers to continue to pass the trials, right? The difference is that the game is sectioned off into 2 halves. And so you have to finish the first half before you finish the second half. But within the first half and the second halves, you can visit any kind of dungeon you want. But you would not be able to finish the second half without finishing the first half, because you need the powers and abilities that you get in the first half to be able to even access or even do the puzzles in the second half. But also, like, if you like, because I started a new game and I try to sequence break everything, so it's like, oh, let me try to go to like the fifth dungeon, right? No,
right,
you can't. The NPCs won't be there to activate the dungeon itself, and you wouldn't be able to enter it. So the story is very, very much structured in like, you got to do this, and then this will happen, and then this will happen, and then the story will continue, and then you can continue on to the second half of the game if you get my drift, right?
Yeah, let me just clarify one thing with you. So you said the game's kind of split into two halves. Like, let's say, for instance, the first half has 4 dungeons, the second half has 4 dungeons. Can you do those first 4 dungeons in any order, or is it very much like, oh, okay, you can do it like that? All right, cool.
Yeah. And
that's
then, but each of these dungeons, each of the paths to these dungeons will even have a story. So it very much is like, again, like Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, where you're going to this place and you're kind of trying to find out like what's going on in this region. You know, you go to the Gerudo region and you're meeting the Gerudos for the first time, and then you're trying to help them out and with their situation. So again, this world is being split apart by rifts, right? And people and places are being sucked into this abyss called the Still World. So that's what's been causing problems all over Hyrule. So Zelda goes all around Hyrule and goes up to like the Zora and be like, hey, what's going on over here? And then you go finish that. And then once you figure that out, you're like, oh, that's what's going on. And then you go like do the dungeon. And then like, but the fun thing though is that dungeons are very much classically formatted too. There's a big key. You got to find the boss key before you enter the nightmare key, before you enter the nightmare door to fight the boss. But before you get the big key, you probably maybe there's a way to sequence break things, right? But I do think that there are certain powers and echoes that you need within that dungeon to be able to finish it. For example, like there you might have an echo that's a cannon that blows out wind, like gusts of wind, right? And like this cannon will be like trying to block you in like a wind tunnel, but then you copy it, and then like now suddenly you can summon wind tunnels wherever you go, you know. But then being able to blow stuff away means you can blow away, for example, piles of sand that might be hiding like a door or something that you need to progress, you know. So that's how they do, like, you know, giving her powers and tools and stuff like that, because she will have all the abilities you need in the game at the beginning of the game, just like Tears of the Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
But you would need the echoes, and she also upgrades abilities in terms of like her casting ability and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you will also, this is not a spoiler too, because they showed this in the trailers, you will also increase the amount of triangles that you can have. So she starts the game off with 3. So each echo will have an element of like either 1, 2, or 3 triangles, and that's the cost of summoning them, right? So to cast a Dark Knight, for example, that's a powerful Dark Knight enemy. So that will cast all 3 of her triangles at the beginning of the game, and this is all in the tutorial area too. You can get a Dark Knight in the tutorial area, and that'll cast all 3 triangles. So the Dark Knight is the only thing you can have, or you can cast 3 beds. The bed only costs 1 triangle. So that's how it works. And then as the game progresses, you will increase the amount of triangles she has, and that will increase the amount of things she can summon. And that's where things get really, really powerful. But even the later on, the things that she can summon get really, really strong. And here's one way you can sequence break the game. You can go to some of these stronger enemies, and you can just try to fight them and kill them, and you can get their echo. And but the fun thing, though, is that you can't use them at the beginning of the game. You know, so you can't break the game that way. So if I got if I got a moblin that costs 5 triangles to cast, right? I can't use them at the beginning of the game. Not even after I finish like part of the game and I have like 4 triangles. I have to wait until I get 5 triangles to be able to use them. So
yeah.
They do pace the game this way. It's interesting, but there are still ways to be really strong. You can still find really, really strong echoes, and there are some echoes that are completely. The joke in the trailer was that the bed might be broken, right? The bed is completely broken. I will tell you that I was using the bed, the dirty bed, all the way up until the fucking final dungeon, bro. I was like, I can't believe I'm still making bed bridges, but here I am, and it's still the shit still works, you know.
That's
So
really
there are
cool, man.
many ways to like solve like these dungeons. Like I did not have to use a bed. Like there was probably later on she gets a cloud that she can copy. That's
Ooh,
overpowered because
yeah.
because she's basically cloud hopping. She's going all over the map. Like there's no boundaries because she can just summon a cloud, jump on that, summon another cloud higher up, jump on that, and then you're just
Wow,
jumping up forever and ever. You know.
that's crazy, dude.
Yeah. But that's a late
Um.
game. That's a late game echo that you get.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
that would completely break the
yeah.
game,
Breaks the
right?
game. Yeah.
Yeah. So
There's a couple of things in the trailer. I have a few questions about. I've seen.
yeah.
So, like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, there's many outfits for you to wear in this game
Hmm.
for Zelda to get. Do they change stats or anything like they did in Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, or are they just more cosmetic?
They're mostly cosmetic. There is one outfit that does have a utility. I do not want to spoil
Okay.
what that outfit
Okay.
is or what that
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
utility does. That is that's a huge surprise.
Yeah.
Not a huge surprise, but it's a good
Yeah.
surprise.
We'll keep it. We'll keep it secret.
But you do get accessories, and that will give you stats. So
Okay.
that's not cosmetic. The outfits are cosmetic, and they're great. Oh my god, dude! I'm still playing the game, and I just unlocked the costume last night, and I was like, oh fuck, just fucking costume! I just beat the game all over again just to see it in that costume again. Um, but the accessories will give you a boost. For example, buying the Zora flippers will make you swim faster.
Yes.
Um, and there is an accessory where it will decrease the amount of time the magic meter for the Link Sword Fighter form will drop. So you can just be in Sword Fighter for a really fucking long time.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
You know. So but again, that is where things get absurdly powerful.
Yeah.
You know.
So would you say it's a pretty easy Zelda game then, from like enemy difficulty wise, combat
Combat
wise? Yeah.
wise, absolutely. Combat wise, Zelda fucking runs laps around Link in terms of like what her ability is. Because here's the thing, like I won't spoil some of the larger echoes, but the Dark Knight or the Dark Nut, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like a level 5 or like a level 3 Dark Nut, which is huge. They become huge, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there's like screen clears. The Dark Knight is just doing the spin attack axe around. And
Wow.
here's how the combat feels very responsive, which is a weird thing to say about a game all about summoning. When you press Y to summon, the enemy will do the attack right away. And if you're targeting the enemy, then the enemy will attack that enemy right away. So you press Y,
Oh,
you summon the Dark Knight, and the Dark Knight will immediately start spinning around and do the attack.
damn. Okay.
So it is like a delayed attack, but
Mm-hmm.
not that much delay. So like there is another enemy where it's a electric moth, right? And it's got rockets that shoot out the back. So if I target something, and it can fly too. So if I target something and I just press Y, then I'm shooting electric moth missiles at people.
Damn.
Like
That's
that, like
cool.
long distance across the
Yeah.
screen, like
Yeah.
the boss can't even reach fucking Zelda, but then Zelda is posted away and just casting electric moths, and the electric moths aren't like going like bloop, bloop, bloop. No, they're shooting shoo, shoo, shoo,
Mm-hmm.
right at the boss, and they hit really fucking hard. So combat wise, this is probably a really easy Zelda, especially if you find the right echoes. Puzzle wise, this is still pretty hard. Especially the later dungeons, I was stumped in a couple of rooms where I was
Oh.
like, I'm completely lost. I don't know what the fuck to do. Um,
Hmm.
and
Interesting.
then you sit on it for a while and you really sift through your echoes and you're like, what do I have in the so you get 127 echoes, the copy abilities, and you're scrolling through these and you're like, what do I have that can solve this puzzle? That gets tough, and that actually like almost filtered me where I was like, you know what, I'm done for the night because I can't fucking figure out this dungeon.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting and that's really exciting. And once figured out, I felt like a genius. So that
Yeah.
old classic Zelda formula, Eiji Aonuma, the producer, he was like, the purpose of a Zelda game is to make the players feel smart, not even be smart or actually smart, but you just feel
Yeah.
smart,
Feel smart.
you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
that's what
They're great
Echoes
at
of
that.
Wisdom is always constantly doing. It is a wisdom game, so it is a game that makes you most feel smart because it's
Yeah.
constantly doing that all the time.
Yeah. Do you think from what I'm hearing, just combat wise, do you think the game will be so easy people will complain about it?
That's why I give it 3.5 stars, because like
Okay.
I'm trying to be a little bit objective about it, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
I think the imbalance about it that might turn some people off. I enjoy it. I don't mind having Zelda being super strong or whatever, right?
Right.
I thought it was really funny, but she towards the end of the game, because I'm trying to finish the end game, and so I'm trying to do all the side quests. I think I pretty much have every single power. Um, she doesn't just get summons, Brad, and I'm not going to talk about what kinds of things that she gets, but
Mm-hmm.
she can also get robots, Brad.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah. So you can have a summon and a robot out in the field at the same time.
That is good stuff. I love
Yeah,
that.
it
Wow.
is. It,
That
it
sounds
is
hype.
absolute madness. Absolute madness.
That is hype.
Yeah,
Um,
but she's also not even like the bed is broken. Like the echo that I use the most is the water block.
mhm.
Because you summon a block of water right in front of you, and you can summon water above you, and then basically by the end of the game, I was, or not even at the beginning of the game, I was already flying through the air, like swimming through blocks of water that I would create, and that was how I navigated so much of the game.
Hmm.
I just swam through it, you know.
Yeah. That's all really cool. Like I love the amount of freedom they're giving you. It sounds like, we've
Mm-hmm.
had that in the last two Zelda games, but it's a little more strict also about how you can handle things. Like you said, you can't just run straight to the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting tweak that I really do like. Just kind of keeping you, I guess, in the first half of the game first and just doing everything there in whatever order
Completely.
you like. I think
Yeah.
that's great. So you talk about a couple dungeons. How was the theming of the dungeon? How was the puzzles? Like, let's just talk about like the first dungeon you did. How was the theming of it? The puzzles in it? Was it all satisfying? Was it a
Yeah.
good length?
Yeah, good length. You so the first dungeon is kind of like the tutorial dungeon, and everybody talked about it in the previews. And
Right.
people got mad at me for spoiling that you
Well,
fight who you fight to get the sword fighter link. I didn't even say who it is, but it's not even a spoiler. Everybody's talking about it in all the previews, right? And it's literally in the goddamn trailer. So please, guys, calm down. I'm not spoiling anything. Right? This shit happens in the first 20 minutes. Calm down. But I will talk about the first temple, and I won't say which one I chose,
okay.
but you can choose a temple. But the run up to the temple, you go to this region and you find out what's going on, and then you solve the conflict within that region, right? But the conflict is started by the rift that opened, and then so you're doing like little side quests to solve the issues with the people in that region, right? And that's fun. Sometimes that might you get you to a cave, but they're all little side quests. And then you go into the rift world, or you go into the rift and you go into the still world, and that's where like a lot of platforming and navigation puzzles really start to happen. Because the still world is basically like islands of broken up Hyrule,
Mm-hmm.
so there's a lot of platforming. It's really an interesting game to play right after Astrobot, um, because of how much platforming there is. And Zelda does get an accessory that increases her jump height. So
Ooh.
so
Okay.
that's huge, because she can just, if you summon a boulder, she couldn't jump on top of it. Now she can summon a boulder and she can just jump on that, and you can now use boulders as a stepping stone for things. So really
That's
cool.
cool.
Really opens
Damn, that's
opens things
awesome.
up. But yeah, that jumping accessory will be really helpful in the still world as you're making these platform jumps. Really hard stuff, really hard navigation puzzles where they're like, you're at the bottom and they're like, fucking climb up here, figure it
Mm-hmm.
out. And here's some water that you can swim in the middle of it, and here's some fucking trees that shot out the side. So figure that out.
Yeah.
And then so you can
Um,
use maybe you can use a spider to climb up the web. Maybe you can use a bird to glide across. Maybe you're using gusts of wind to fly up, or maybe you're just like me and you're just making blocks of water to swim through.
yeah. Sounds all really cool. I
And
love
then
all
you
the
finish that
options.
still world, and then you find a dungeon, and then it'll say so and so temple, and it's a classic Zelda dungeon. The first room, and then you find your first key, and it's really
Yeah.
introducing like the concept of the dungeon, and like what are the unique aspects of it. That each dungeon will have like a unique like trick to it, you know. So yeah, there's going to be unique enemies to it, and there's going to be unique echoes that you find in there, and the
Yeah.
unique echoes will be the tool probably that you will need to use to do that. So a lot of dungeons will also have like Like, hey, here's an electric echo in the room, in 2 rooms before. You might need this 2 rooms later, so keep that in mind. So the game is always really like kind of guiding you that way. But then that's where it gets tricky towards the end, because by the end you get so many fucking echoes, and then the game isn't like, oh, so you got the one echo in the one dungeon, that's the only dungeon you're going to use it in, right? No,
Right.
you're probably going to continue to use that echo for forever, of all the way up until the end of the game. So the second half of the game will be compounding the problems for you, and it will expect you to understand and learn and know all the echoes that you got to that point, and using that. So that's what I love about this game, is that it's not even just like the problem with Twilight Princess, great game, but my biggest criticism was that you get the power in the temple, and then you use it for the temple and the temple boss, and then it doesn't really become a factor later on.
No, not nearly as much as it should.
Not a ton.
Yeah,
right.
not a ton.
Like the saw surfing thing. Like you get a couple heart pieces out in the world, and that's it, right?
Yeah,
and you never use that for another dungeon ever again. That always irritated me. Echoes of Wisdom is not like that. For example, you get the water block in the water dungeon, and I just kept using that throughout the whole game.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'm curious about this. This doesn't mean a lot to many people, but I am curious about the story, and I don't expect anything from the story. So I'm just curious, how did you find the story this time around? Were you engaged at all? Like, I'm big into the Zelda stories and lore and all that kind of stuff, so I'm just kind of...
Oh, sorry, you cut out for a little bit there. What'd you say?
Okay.
Yeah.
Story. What did you think of the story so far in the game? Did you enjoy it? I'm big on Zelda stories, and more than most people, I'm always interested in them, so I'm just kind of curious how you felt about everything.
What do you find interesting? What do you find interesting about Zelda stories? What do you like about them most? And maybe I can tell you whether it might resonate.
I think a lot of it is characters and kind of events that go on. And I think Ganon is just an awesome character. I love Ganon. He's one of my favorite villains ever. And the whole lore, like, I think about back to Breath of the Wild when I was thinking about like the Zonai and how mysterious they were at that time before we learned about them in Tears of the Kingdom and all that kind of stuff, and the history of Hyrule. And in Skyward Sword, the very beginning of the timeline and how everything played out in that sense with Demise and all that kind of stuff. I always like learning about all that kind of stuff. And now I don't expect nearly anything, or if anything at all, from this game, because it is, I guess it's technically a mainline game, but it's not like, the successor to Tears of the Kingdom or something like that.
Yeah. So that said, I was actually surprised at how much I like the story. I was surprised at how much story there was. You might be surprised at how much lore there is too. Now, I will say that from what I can tell, this is not like tied into like the timeline or anything like that. Right. Like, this is definitely trying to be its own thing. And this is not a spoiler, but Zelda does not know who Link is at the beginning of the game. And that is part of the story. So this is definitely a different era of Zelda, if anything, right?
Cool.
But I was pretty intrigued by the story by the end of it. By the end of it, I was like, okay, that was pretty good, right? But it was interesting enough to get me through things, and I was really interested in how it will all tie together, what Zelda's role is in all this, and what Link's role is in all this. The minute to minute story beats where you're visiting the regions again, where you're solving problems, all that shit is actually really, really good. Actually, cool. People who like really, really simple, charming stories, I think you're gonna find a lot to love here, because like Zelda is going around and helping people become the better person, the better version of themselves.
Cool.
And it's very, very heartwarming. There were a couple of stories where I was like, oh man, like she really did that. We really did that together, and we really addressed the issue that was going on in this area, So it's really, really satisfying. I will say that it ends okay, but it also ends amazingly,
Yeah, cool.
I think the final dungeon and everything, the climax of the game itself, ends pretty fantastically. So the more I played it, the more I've grown to appreciate the game. I'm going through it a second time, and I'm also cleaning up the side quests on my main game. There's a lot of nuances and a lot of little story things that I think people will be interested in, and the characters are really great. All new characters, new Gerudo type characters, new Goron characters. They're all great. They're all interesting. They're all very colorful characters.
Yeah,
You know,
I love that
theme
they had
songs.
the two Zora types. I was really happy to see that. There's
Yes,
like the
yes.
river and the ocean ones or whatever. Yeah,
Yes,
it was cool.
they're the sea Zoras and the river Zoras, and yeah, there
Yeah.
is a conflict between the two of them too, which is really
Mm-hmm.
super fun and really really interesting. And yeah, that's really interesting for Zelda fans, but even for people who aren't Zelda fans, like it's a good introduction to like each of these regions too, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like every Zelda game assumes that you didn't play the previous one. Too.
Yeah, that's
Even
usually how it
Tears of the
goes.
Kingdom.
Even Tears of the Kingdom in some ways, yeah. Some NPCs don't know you when they absolutely
Yeah,
should.
exactly. Yeah, I really think that they're trying to make every Zelda stand on their own, and that's why they fucked up on Tears of the Kingdom, where it's like, oh
Yeah.
man, like we're trying to have it both ways, but we can't
Yeah,
really
you
do
can't
it.
do that. You got to do
Yeah.
it one way or the other.
Yeah.
Okay, just a few more questions for you.
Yeah.
One thing I was curious about. So Zelda, like her main attack is, getting these echoes out and all that kind of stuff. You need the charges to do it. When your echoes are out and you're out of charges, do you have anything else to attack with or defend yourself with?
No, you have the spin
Okay.
attack, but
Okay.
that is mostly
That's like
to
your magic meter.
cut grass, and it moves faster. So that is a Link's role in this game. So if you speedrunners will be spinning attack the whole game.
Yeah.
But that's the way
That's
to
meta.
move through this game.
Yeah.
Really really hilarious. You do get an accessory that will boost your spin attack to have a knockback for enemies. So that's cool. But she can't directly harm the enemy. She can't put hands on the enemy and harm them, unless you turn into sword fighter mode. And sword fighter mode is fun.
Okay, cool. This might be a spoiler, so feel free to not answer it. But I was just wondering, once you beat the game, do you unlock anything? If so, you don't have to say anything, but you can just say yes. There is like an unlock or something, some sort of thing.
No.
Okay.
No. As far as I can tell, no.
Yeah. Okay.
There was a lot that I missed when I got to the end of the game, but I think all of it is completely doable. It's definitely doable before the end of the game. So
okay, cool. Yeah. Let's talk about some negatives of the game, Gene. One thing I've been very worried about is the performance. How is it compared to Link's Awakening?
Much better. So this is great because I actually recently completed Link's Awakening at the same time as I was playing Echoes of Wisdom.
Okay.
I really wanted to. I was preparing for this discussion in particular, and also I just wanted to see how Grezzo made Link's Awakening and what they learned from Echoes of Wisdom and everything like that. Link's Awakening performed pretty bad actually, as I'm playing it in 2024. Echoes of Wisdom is a little better. It's actually really, really smooth in the dungeons and indoor areas, and it's like that is where you get a glimpse of like, oh man, Switch 2, 60 FPS Zelda. That'll be so nice because you're seeing it right there. She's summoning things and it's 60 FPS, and it's like, man, like this is gonna really cook on a Switch 2. And then you go outside and it will chug, but not nearly as bad as Link's Awakening. I would say probably maybe 35 frames per second. I don't know why they don't just fucking cap the frames.
The frame.
Yeah, just cap it to 30, man. But yeah, indoors you'll see 60, maybe 50, maybe drops to 50 or 45. But and I'm just eyeballing everything. But
of course.
I think it runs pretty smoothly in the dungeons, and it does better than Link's Awakening in the overworld, but it's not going to be anywhere close to like even 45 frames per second on the overworld. Okay. So,
well, that's good to hear. At least if it's an improvement in a way, like it annoys me in Link's Awakening, but it's like I can still play the game and have a good time like that. So
yeah. I mean, so if Link's Awakening is fine for you, then Echoes of Wisdom is going to be even better, and it will make you wish. At least for me, it made me wish that it performed better because it's like, especially again, coming after Astrobot, it's like, oh man, like Astrobot really showed us the world of like Nintendo games, what a Nintendo game could look like with actually good tech, or up to date tech. And that's what it is. So not bad. Grezzo clearly learned a little bit more, and they optimized a little bit better. So good for them.
Yeah, cool, good.
And there's a lot more
All
going
right.
on in this game for sure. This is a
Yeah.
bigger map too. This uses the Link to the Past Hyrule as like a template, but it is not the Link to the Past Hyrule. It is a completely different region, and it is using that map as like a suggestion. It's like, okay, well maybe here's a church here, right? And maybe here's like where the fucking all those weird mounds of dirt are over here on the side,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't know what that mound of dirt ever was in Link to the Past.
I don't know either.
Other than just having a few enemies, but it's fucking there again. But then like the Zora region is like completely different. Like everything there is like nothing you've ever seen before.
Cool.
Like
Yeah.
the Gerudo Desert is completely different. Like the entrance of it will be similar, like the little zigzag to get into the Gerudo Desert. The actual desert area itself is like, ooh, this is like this was never here before. So
Yeah.
Death Mountain completely different, like all different layouts. So there's a lot for people to explore, even though even if you might be tired of Hyrule, because there's just a lot.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Just my final question is, so from what you've played of this game, what would you like to see them incorporate in future Zeldas? Any ideas from this game you'd like to see move forward?
Wow, that's a good question. Um, what I think, well, they had this in their developer interview yesterday, right? But they were saying that they're going to continue 2D Zelda, and they're going to be using this format and look basically in the future. I love that because the Nintendo themselves calls it 2D top-down Zelda, and a lot of people call it 2D Zelda. I don't want to call it a 2D Zelda because it technically is not.
It's technically not 2D, yeah.
It's technically not.
Right.
The only thing 2D about it is it's on the screen, which all games are. And the fact is that you can't just fly over everything like you can in Tears of the Kingdom. So the camera obviously is 2D. You can't control it 2D, right? But this is a 3D game. Everything is moving in 3 dimensions. It is physics-based. You have to think in 3D to be able to navigate the space. So it's that restriction that I think it's that restriction of cameras that allowed them to finally revisit like a more linear progression style thing, because like they blew the doors open with Breath of the Wild. You can fly 30,000 feet in the air, and you can do that in Twilight Princess. In Twilight Princess you're pretty grounded, right? But giving the Link the ability to fucking jump and fly, like it's over, like it blows open the whole formula. So I think they could take some lessons on how to make both camps happy here. People who really, really love the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom stuff, and that's us, right? Like we love that too. But then a lot of the community, and even a part of me too, does miss the Wind Waker, Twilight Princess formula. And within Echoes of Wisdom is the key, I think. And I think they're trying to figure that out too. And I think that they use Echoes of Wisdom as kind of like a training ground to be like, okay, how can we in the future actually tell a story with Zelda, and give it some kind of formula and format, and give some structure to the dungeons, and that people really want dungeons. And it's like, okay, well, let's figure this out. So I think they're getting to that point. And Tears of the Kingdom tried to do that too. Tears of the Kingdom did have dungeons, and they were pretty good. Some of them were great, right?
Some of them were not good, like the Water Temple, I remember.
Yeah, the Water Temple was bad. The Water Temple was pretty bad. The Wind Temple was cool. The run up to the Wind Temple was awesome.
I think the run up to all the temples was very good, actually. I really liked all that kind of stuff.
Actually, yeah, the run up to the Water Temple was actually pretty sick too.
I liked I think the Lightning Temple in the Gerudo Desert was my favorite one, because that felt like the most classic, I guess, even though it's not technically, but it felt like it to me the most. But yeah,
I did like the Fire Temple too. Although you could just fly everywhere. So I mean, that was
everything.
If you didn't have the hover bike, then yes, it's a very good temple, right? If you do have the hover bike, then it's like then that's a problem. So there is no hover bike equivalent for Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, even though as broken as beds are, beds can only get you so far. Eventually, you're gonna have to use other echoes to figure things out. You can't bed your way through fighting the last boss. That's for sure. Although you do get upgraded beds, though. You upgrade your bed.
Okay.
because you can
That's
heal
good to hear.
faster. Because remember, you can. That's the way to heal in this game. You summon the bed and you sleep on it.
Oh, really? That's fun. I like that.
Oh, also, here's another criticism I have. Speaking of healing,
Yeah.
there's only two ways to heal: conjure the bed and you sleep on it, and you can get upgraded beds, and it'll give you more hearts per
Oh,
few seconds, right?
okay.
So the first
But you
bed, the
can't
broken
find
bed, the one
hearts.
that you use, the 1-star bed, that will give you half a heart. Really, really slow, but not bad at the beginning of the game because you only have 3 hearts, right? Eventually, you'll get a bed that'll heal you 1 heart per few seconds. That's really helpful. And then you get a bed that'll heal you 2 hearts. Really, really helpful.
Okay.
That's the best bed. So,
Interesting. Hmm.
but the
Interesting
only
stuff.
other way to heal in this game is to make a smoothie and drink it. The cooking mechanic from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it basically re-emerges here as mixing smoothies. You can only mix a smoothie at a business scrub smoothie stand, which are all over the place. There's at least one in each region, right? And my other big criticism of this game is that there's a lot of side quests, and a lot of them are pretty cool, and they have cool little stories, right? And they will take you to all different types of maps, and there's varying levels of side quests. Some of them are really, really simple, or some of them will really give you like a cool reward or take you into like a really cool boss, even, like. And then there's even side quest strands you can finish, right? Some side quests will just reward you with smoothie ingredients, and
Okay.
you're like, okay, that's it. So,
But are some of these like ingredients really good? Like, you drink this smoothie and you're invulnerable for a certain amount of time, or your
yeah,
magic does more damage.
yeah, exactly, yeah,
Like that.
yeah.
Okay.
So exactly like food, right? It'll have different effects.
Okay.
Going into a cold area, make a warm smoothie, and you'll be invincible to cold for 3 minutes. That
Okay.
kind of thing.
Okay. Okay.
So if
Cool.
you're going to be in the Zora area and you're going to be swimming a lot, maybe make some smoothies where you're going to be swimming a lot faster. But again, that'll just make Zelda so overpowered, though, man. Like she's drinking all these like energy drinks, and she's hyped up. She's a complete beast, you
Yeah.
know. Just pounding on these energy drinks, and she's like invulnerable, and she can swim fast as fuck, and she has lightning resistance. Like, what the
Oh
fuck,
my
man?
God. Yeah. She's
Like,
a
I
boss.
never needed lightning resistance in this game. It was fine. Like she could take shocks like a champ, but the idea that she could just like tank lightning,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck, like, what are we
Yeah.
doing?
I guess they
So
want to give players an option to make sure everyone can get through the game, I guess.
that's basically what it is. Like, so yeah, so like even if you're having a hard time in a boss, like if you can have you can have a limited amount of smoothies, but that is way more smoothies than you need to beat the
Right.
game. Like I was drinking smoothies. Like in the last boss, I was like, okay, yeah, I drank 2 smoothies to fill my heart back up. So
Mm-hmm.
got pretty tough.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so this game will incentivize you to use the smoothies, and it's cool. And I'm not saying that every side quest gives you a bad reward. Some side quests give you amazing rewards, dude. Really, really. Again, I
Right.
got an outfit from a side quest last night, and it is the best outfit in the game. And it's
Okay. Cool.
like this is where that outfit was. No shit,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
So really,
Cool.
really, really cool stuff.
Good. Good to hear that.
Yeah. So yeah, so it'll be hit or miss, but that's why I'm not really complaining about the quest rewards, because like some quest rewards are really like more than a heart container. Like some of the accessories you get are really, really good too, and they're fun,
Mm-hmm.
and they change the way you play the game too.
Yeah.
So,
Based off everything you've told me about this, Gene, sounds great. What I would like to see them kind of take forward in the future, I guess,
mm,
is I do like this idea of splitting the game up in two. I
mm,
mean, like part one, you can do whatever you want kind of in any order.
mm-hmm,
But then to get to part two, you have to, have done part one. I think that could be a good
mm,
way to segue the game, especially from a narrative perspective, where, because Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, their story is usually just here's a bunch of memories scattered throughout the world. And it's like,
mm-hmm,
okay, I mean, you watch
mm-hmm,
them out of order and you're like, okay, I guess.
It worked
You
in Breath of
kind
the
of,
Wild, but it did not work in Tears of the Kingdom. Like,
no.
bro, you can spoil the end of the game in Tears of the Kingdom like right away. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's just like, I think if they could find a way to get a narrative story going through this at the
Yes.
same time, it'd be much better.
You're very smart to point that out, Brad. Because when you asked the question, I was thinking about like the mechanics of Zelda,
Mm-hmm.
but then you brought it to a broader picture. Yes, you're right. I think that is absolutely what they can learn from this. Like, oh shit, we can just split a Zelda game into two halves, and we can split the story into two halves, and
Yeah.
that is how we'll structure the story, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Interesting. You could have easily done that for Tears of the Kingdom or even Breath of the Wild too. I
Yeah.
think
I think.
there are so many different options there where you can structure a story and a game that way.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think for those kind of games, like think of it like checkpoints almost. You do certain things and you get a checkpoint of lore, kind of like that, but it happens in a linear fashion. Something like
Mhm.
that I would like to see. Also, the idea of these echoes, I think maybe not working the exact same, but the idea of an echo in like a future Zelda game is really cool to me. Of like a spirit, like think of Spirit Ashes in Elden Ring or something like that.
Mhm.
They don't have to be as powerful or like as a Spirit Ash that's out there for a long time, but maybe you could summon in like a Bokoblin for a couple attacks, or like a Dark Nut for a couple attacks, like a Summoner build or something like that. I
Mhm.
think could be interesting to experiment with. So maybe they'll do something like that in the future.
Yeah, then to turn Link into like the fucking the Demon Souls protagonist at the intro, whatever.
Yeah,
That'd be
dude,
sick.
that'd be
But that's what
awesome.
it kind of felt like though. Like our Zelda is a summoner. Yeah, she's really strong. That's all I have to say.
Hmm.
Is that she is a very strong Zelda protagonist. This Princess
Yeah, it's
Zelda.
cool. That's cool. Yeah, coming
Yeah,
out.
really good game. Long game, huge game.
Okay,
Surprisingly,
sweet.
well, not that long. It's not
No,
like
not like it's not like 70 hours,
it's
but
not
you
a
know, you
70-hour game. But I
know,
think you could probably get like a good 30 to 40 hours, 50,
yeah,
probably even 50 if you're trying to complete everything. But
yeah, that's meaty.
if you only do the main quest stuff, then I think you can probably get through everything in like maybe 15 to 20 hours. But
Okay,
you know, but still a meaty Zelda game.
meaty's
This is
okay.
like you said, this is a Zelda mainline game. Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
yeah.
Love to hear it. Couple days
In
away.
every aspect. I'm only missing one echo, which is driving me insane. Like what so I do know what region it is in, and the game, so that's what unlocks at the end of the game. The game will unlock a mechanic that will tell you, okay, you're missing echoes in this region, you're missing echoes in this region. That's
Okay,
nice.
yeah, that
So
is nice.
that will help completionists, and that will help guide completionists. So that was nice. I was missing like like one or two echoes in like each region. I was like, oh shit, okay, well that's really helpful, so let me go clean that up. And it
Cool.
took me forever to find most of them, but this last one, I can't find it. So I'm missing that, and I'm missing 3 full heart containers, so 12 heart containers in total.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that's it. I think those are the only thing I'm missing. Oh, and you also get levels of might, and might increases your sword fighter ability. Again, that is where Zelda gets way too overpowered because her magic meter for the sword fighter gets really long, bro.
Yeah.
Like longer than I've ever seen in any Souls game. You know,
Jeez.
that is a long magic meter. And again, you can get an accessory that will make that burn even slower. And there are 3 levels to that accessory to make it burn even slower, bro.
Wow.
Um, and the sword fighter form gets more powerful. Like the sword will get more powerful. You know, and there are levels to increasing the power. So like I swear to God, dude, like by the end of like there are different powers that I'm forgetting Zelda has because she has so many fucking abilities by the end of it. And like I'm like two-shotting bosses at this point, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. All
But it's
right.
super fun.
Well,
And it's fun to build up. I do wish that this game has some kind of new game plus.
yeah,
Um
always.
because
Zelda's
a
like
lot of
never
the
do,
accessory and
sadly.
even outfits that you get late game, and it's like, oh man, like I wish I could enjoy this like the whole game, you know. So maybe
Yeah.
not even give us the echoes, but maybe like give us the accessories and maybe the outfits, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been cool. So
The last new game plus I remember in a Zelda game is Wind Waker, where you get his like lobster shirt,
yeah, yeah.
and you can understand like the ancient Hylian now that like
Oh
some of
yeah,
the
that was
characters
fun.
speak.
Yeah, from the
But
fish.
I
Yeah,
can't. Yeah, I can't think of anything else after that really though. But yeah, new game
yeah,
plus stuff's always fun.
yeah. It's kind of, remember that magic armor at the end of Twilight Princess. That
Mm-hmm.
you have to spend like 9,999 rupees to get, and it will give you like infinite magic as long as you have rupees. Um,
Yeah.
Super cool armor to have. Completely useless by the end of the game.
Yeah.
You know?
But in the game, yeah, you don't need it. You're fine
Yeah,
by the time you get that.
yeah.
Cool.
So it's definitely God
Zelda.
mode by the end of the game, but whatever.
Yeah, Zelda. A few days
And
away for me.
horses too.
Yeah,
Remember, there's
there's a
horse
horse.
in the
Yeah,
game.
yeah. There's a horse. I can't wait to ride that horse, dude.
You can
Stoked.
summon the horse anytime too, as long as you have a echo carrot.
Echo Carrot. I like
Mm.
that. Cool. But yeah, a few days away. I'm very excited about it. Can't wait. Always
Also, this
excited
is going to be a
for it.
very, very funny game to watch people to stream because people are going to be doing some of the stupidest shit. I swear to God.
Like breaking it and
Because I'm laughing at myself playing the game because like Zelda looks really, really stupid. Like taking a nap in the middle. Like I was taking naps in the middle of the last boss. You know? Like there's so much going on, and I have I summon like a horde of bats around me to protect me as like Zelda just sleeps like heals.
That's really funny, dude.
It's like people are gonna have so much fun with this game. I can't wait to see what people do. I think tomorrow over at GameSpot, during the preview, not in his review, but during the preview, he ran the first dungeon doing only spiders. So
Wow.
you know,
Challenge runs and all that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, so I wonder if like you can do like a spider only run, you know, because the spider is very helpful. You can bind yourself to the spider, and then as the spider climbs up the wall, like Zelda will just climb up too, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be sick. Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Gene, let's just talk about what I've been playing real quick.
Yeah.
I talked about this on Summon Sign, so I won't get too deep into it. But I've been playing Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster.
Oh man.
And man, it's still a lot of fun, dude. It's still a lot of fun. I hadn't played Dead Rising for a very long time as well, not since the original Xbox 360, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So coming back as Frank West, man, still hits real good. It looks obviously much better now. They've redone a lot of the graphics. I think it's RE Engine, a lot of it, or it seems like it, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the setting, the mall, the simplicity of it. It's so good. It's what I really like about it, Gene, is the mall is so like, it's a great size. It's small, but big enough where it feels like it's a big space. But what I like about it is like, I just start to recognize landmarks and kind of navigate the mall just by knowing like, oh, there's a food stand right there. Okay, well, I know where that goes, kind of thing. Like, oh, there's the movie theater. Like, that's how it's like I'm actually walking through a mall, not opening up my map in game. I'm just in that zone the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Bashing zombies is still a great fun. So many fun weapons to use, like sledgehammers, there's swords, chainsaws. You can use really goofy stuff, like you can throw frisbees at guys that like does nothing, but you can just do it if you want. There's the servbot heads you can just put on them. All that really good stuff. Tons of outfits you can get for Frank. You can just try on in clothes stores.
Mm-hmm.
Super fun.
Oh man.
There's the psychopath bosses that are
yeah, how are those now? How are the boss fights? Because
they're
they're
pretty
a little
bad.
janky. Huh?
They're pretty bad. Yeah, they're pretty janky still.
They're still janky.
Yeah. Oh, they're still janky. Yeah.
Okay, so they didn't change the design of that. Okay, that's fine.
No. Yeah, they left like all that the same. Like they're
all kind of. Did you beat the last boss?
I'm at like the very end of the game. Like
the last boss was still janky too.
Yeah. It's all the boss fights in this game are extremely jank.
That's great.
You just kind of it's kind of like weird. You're fumbling your way through them the whole time, I'll say, but the game is still fun, and I absolutely recommend this game, especially if you haven't played Dead Rising. But it has like the skeleton gene of the original, where it just feels like the original in some ways. I think movement and stuff feels a little better this time around, but it's still very much, the Xbox 360 game, DNA, right all in there. So it's been great, man. And like the survivors, their AI, I think, is a little better, but they're still dumb. They still get caught on stuff. And I'm like, I've gotten guys killed just because I didn't know where they were and they just got caught behind or something like that. And I had no idea. So it's definitely something that takes getting some used to. But
and there's still the time limit too, right?
It's still the time limit. Yeah. So if anyone doesn't know, there's like a 3-day time limit when you're in this mall. You have until a chopper comes to pick you back up. So during these 3 days, you have a bunch of objectives you have to do. You have to solve a case, as Frank, essentially, to find out why this zombie outbreak is happening in here. So you get cases like that, and there's certain events that only take place at certain times on certain days. So your first run of the game, you're not going to do everything. There's no way. You're going to lose survivors. There's psychopaths that are optional. Like I try to fight these psychopaths that have like snipers, and I just couldn't catch them. I was too slow because throughout the game you level up, and as you level up, you get improvements to like stats like damage and your speed and stuff like that. And I just couldn't keep up with these guys yet. My speed was too low. But thankfully, once you beat the game, you do get New Game Plus. So you get to keep everything with Frank, all your stats and all that kind of stuff. So you can clean up way easier. But yeah, Dead Rising, damn good time.
Yeah, I remember that at max speed, he's just basically sprinting throughout the whole mall. It's hilarious.
Exactly.
Like his walk speed is so fast.
Yeah. And the mall just looks really cool. I think it's a really awesome mall. Like the food court looks really rad. There's a movie theater in there that's really cool. It's just an awesome space, a really good space for a zombie game. But yeah, if you haven't played Dead Rising or you look back on it fondly, I'd recommend it. It's a cool game.
I look back on it very fondly, and it's especially relevant today because I don't know how many people remember, but Dead Rising was the Xbox 360 launch game, right? Or at least in the launch period, if I recall correctly. Dead Rising was the game that made me feel like, oh, this is next gen. We are a next gen.
Yeah, me too.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there just hasn't been a game at all. Like fucking right away on day one, Xbox 360 had a game that I was like, yo, you are in the next generation of fucking games, though, man. Like you made it to the next level of games. I
think this was a 2006 game, actually.
That's crazy. So that's so old, after.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we're just like, like I guess Ratchet and Clank,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of particles on screen. Like that's it.
Yeah. Cool.
Returnal is 1080p. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Dead Rising was definitely one of those games where you're like, holy shit.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything like this.
I'm naming games that I love. I think Returnal and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart are the two best games of the generation. But that said, like they don't fill me. They don't fill me with this kind of awe and like, wow, we really made it to the next level, like Dead Rising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just like the goofy stuff you do in Dead Rising, like a lot of people die in the game, but it has a goofy tone to it in a lot of ways. Like you can just get on a skateboard and just fucking plow through zombies. I was riding a bicycle, like an actual just bicycle, and I was just mowing down like hundreds of zombies, getting all these kills.
I remember I was really invested in the mystery too. Like I was like, oh my god, I really need to figure out this mall and what's going on.
Yeah,
here,
man.
And it was a little mysterious. It was a video game. It was like, figure this shit out. It's
yeah.
I wasn't interested in it, but then the more clips I'm seeing and the more people talk about it, I'm like, you know what? Dead Rising was actually a fantastic game, and it probably still is the best one. So
yeah, I've only played 1 and 2. I never played 3 or 4.
I know people
like 4.
I did play 3 and 4. 3 was good, I think, and that was the Xbox One exclusive.
Yeah,
for some reason, it was good, but it's a lot messier. It's open world and there's no restrictions or whatever like that. But it's pretty fun. 4 was kind of a mess. So
yeah. It's a damn shame. But yeah. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, good time. Okay, Gene. Recently, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company announced they have filed a patent infringement lawsuit against Power World developer Pocket Pair. Now, I have this is a response I have here from Nintendo themselves, I believe. This lawsuit seeks an injunction. This lawsuit seeks an injunction against infringement and compensation for damages on the grounds that Power World, a game developed and relayed by defendant, infringes multiple patent rights. Nintendo will continue to take necessary actions against any infringement of its intellectual property rights, including the Nintendo brand itself, to protect the intellectual properties it has worked hard to establish over the years. So they are suing for patent infringement, not necessarily like character designs, because there are some very blatant character inspirations we will say there that they're suing them for.
Yeah.
But how does this make you feel? I am a little more on the outside, Gene, because I haven't actually played Power World, so I don't have the context. But when you see this Nintendo doing, copyright infringement stuff, like on some of their mechanics or whatnot, what do you think about all this?
Well, I think the speculation, I haven't really followed up on the story the last few days, but last I checked, the speculation was that there is a patent for throwing balls at monsters at a field to catch them in Japan.
Okay.
And that is what they're getting at. So it's not even about the monster design. So everybody,
Right.
fucking everybody who's like, oh, see, everybody who said that Power World Nintendo had a case, call me a fucking idiot. Well, look at you now. Look at me now. Including Colin. Colin was like this too, right? But
Yeah.
it's not. It wasn't about the fucking designs, though. It's not about the
Right.
designs. And so people who said it's not about designs were right in the first
Right.
place. Because you can't get them on the designs because that's just not that just won't win the case. There is enough difference with the Power World monsters with the Pokemon monsters to make it legally distinct. But if there is a patent, and so if Nintendo really is patent trolling, then that sucks.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to patent mechanics in a game.
Right.
That's like patenting guitar chords, chord progressions. That's like imagine if Green Day patented the chord progression for at the time of my life or whatever.
Yeah.
Like 70% of songs wouldn't get written anymore.
Yeah. I think it's weird.
Imagine if you could patent a beat. A hip hop beat.
Yeah.
So it's just one DJ doing the same beat, and then everyone
you
else has
patent
to come
like
up with
beats
something
per
fucking
minute.
funky.
120. I'm padding 120 beats per minute. That's my thing. No one else can do that.
Yeah. But yeah, that sucks, and I hope that isn't the case. But Nintendo is a very a lawyer heavy company too.
Yeah, they're cutthroat for sure.
Yeah. So
I have a response here from Power World about this. They said, regarding the lawsuit, yesterday a lawsuit was filed against our company for patent infringement. We have received notice of this lawsuit and will begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations into the claims of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents we are accused of infringing upon, and we have not been notified of such details. Pocket Pair is a small indie game company based in Tokyo. Our goal as a company has always been to create fun games. We will continue to pursue this goal because we know our games bring joy to millions of gamers around the world. Power World was a surprise success this year for both gamers and us. We were blown away by the amazing response to the game and have been working hard to make it even better for our fans. We will continue improving Power World and strive to create a game that our fans can be proud of. It is truly unfortunate that we'll be forced to allocate significant time to matters unrelated to the game development due to this lawsuit. However, we will do our utmost for our fans and to ensure that indie game developers are not hindered or discouraged from pursuing their creative ideas. We apologize to our fans, supporters, and any worry or discomfort that this news has caused. As always, thank you for your continued support of Power World and Pocket Pair. So, yeah, it was really funny. Just at the time, they don't even know what the patents are that they're being sued about.
yeah.
So that's funny. But yeah, it's like, it's just a bummer seeing that. It's like, you don't got to do this, Nintendo. You really don't got to.
Power World isn't even that successful. It made a shit ton of money in the first month, right? But it's dropped off. So, when they say that, at first I was like, oh, we have to attend resources, blah blah blah, to this. I was like, yeah, you're fine. You made a lot of money. But then when you think about it, it's like, yeah, you made the money a long time ago, and you are still supporting the game. So, I can't help but feel a little sorry for Pocket Pair, which is a small company. I don't know. I try to stay out of this though because Nintendo fans are all being defensive of Nintendo, and everyone who hates Nintendo was attacking Nintendo. It's like, oh my god, you can't even have a decent discussion about this,
right?
But,
yeah, like we clearly don't know all the details and all that kind of stuff, like the nitty gritty, but we'll be keeping an eye on this thing as it plays out real time. So
it is scary though because Nintendo doesn't bring cases that it thinks it'll lose. It's the federal government wins like 97% of the cases that it brings forward, and Nintendo is about the same too. So
damn. All right, Gene. So recently there have been some Switch 2 leaks that have kind of popped up around here. I don't know if you've seen any of them on your own yet, but we've gotten a couple images and things about them that have popped up. Particularly, I have this one from Andy Robinson from VGC. He kind of did a summary he has a summary, a tweet that's like a summary of all the leaks that came out for the new Switch. So we're getting looks at mock-ups of what this new Switch will be essentially, and it looks very similar to the original one, but there are some changes. Particularly, the screen is an inch bigger, I believe now. It's 8 inches now, and the Joy Cons, I believe, are going to have this like magnets on them almost instead of like the slide in that we're so used to now. The slide click, it'll just be like a magnet that attaches
Mhm.
to it. There's also, I think, a new button on the back side of it behind like the L and R buttons.
Oh,
It looks like the button that you would use to like pair your Switch or whatever or your Joy-Con,
okay.
but it looks like a different button you can actually tap now, which is interesting.
Hmm.
They're also a little bigger, the Joy-Cons this time around, which is good for me because they were too small for my hands. So we got a little more size on that. And also there's a USB-C slot at the top as well as the bottom. So that'll make it so I guess now if you're charging your Switch or whatever, you can put it on your kickstand and still play it while it's charging, which is
That'll be
nice
nice. Yeah, just makes it a
because
lot
that
more
wasn't really
comfortable playing in
something
bed
you could
and
do
yeah.
before. But LCD screen, all that good stuff, which I really like to see. Also, there was these I believe this is just Chinese YouTuber. I forgot. I don't know how you say her name, but it says X and Z at the end of her name. But
Sure.
she did a 3D print of these specs for the new Switch, and she made like her own mock-up
Oop.
version of it.
Hmm.
And she compares them, and when you see them side by side, it's quite a bit bigger. We're getting like closer into Steam Deck territory, like bulky, like not as bulky as a Steam Deck. It's still very
Oh, that
sleek
is
and
bigger.
slim,
Yeah.
but it is
Wow.
just a much bigger device than the normal Switch. The Joy Cons are much bigger, so I'm really curious about all this kind of stuff. We are just getting closer and closer to the leaks, Gene, or to a reveal, I'm assuming. There's some
Hmm.
power stuff out there. I don't know a lot about all that kind of stuff, but I will say there are 12 gigs of memory, more than the Series S, and it's DLSS capable, which will be great.
That's
Digital
dope.
Foundry was also backing up a lot of this kind of stuff,
Hmm.
saying they think this is all real. So to me, it seems like it's all pretty real. All this stuff, it makes sense to me. Not
Yeah,
getting
they were
too
saying that
crazy.
there was some Digital Foundry was saying that it might be stronger than the Steam Deck.
Yeah, that'll be really fascinating.
Hmm.
So that definitely makes me think about the price, but we'll get into some questions about that
Oh
later.
my god, the price, dude. Yeah, because the Steam Deck is $500, right?
Yeah. But Gene, everything we're just seeing here, like the bigger size, the bigger screen, are you in favor of that? Or do you like the Switch size as it is now?
Totally. There was a viral tweet of being like, "Oh, this is not the Nintendo I remember. So they're so innovative. Why are they doing this?" And like, fuck off, dude. Like, this is what 90% of people want, right?
Yeah.
Um, I was like, all those manga was like dual screens and blah blah blah. Like all that shit was pretty fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
No, 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 thank you. Just be a fucking game console, you know.
Hmm.
Be a game console where third party people can also make games comfortably on it too, you know,
Hmm.
and you will just run away with the whole game, you know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are like, yeah, if Nintendo's console really is like that, then it's over. You know, the console
Yeah.
race is over. You know?
I mean, they had a winning formula before, and you
Mhm.
don't need to change it, honestly.
No,
You don't
don't
really
change
got
it. Don't
you
change it.
just refine it a little bit that's about it.
Yeah, just make it so we can play Elden Ring on it again. You know.
Yeah. Just like, yeah, so you can play more modern stuff on it for a little while, which would be great.
Yeah, Elden
The only
Ring, Dragon's Dogma 2, the fucking Final Fantasy 7 games, you know?
yeah, the
Yeah.
only thing I'm disappointed, I guess, Gene, is that there is no D-pad on it. It's again the four buttons.
That was very, very disappointing. I saw that too, and I was like, "Oh, fucking come on, dude! Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
like it doesn't even look that symmetrical, you know, with the face buttons, you know? Like, fucking get over
Hmm.
yourselves, guys, you know?"
Yeah.
But that's it, though.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. But it looks like exactly like a Switch, just a little improved, and I think that's totally fine
That's
because
totally cool. Let's do it.
the
Let's
Switch
go.
has been killing it. So you don't need to mess with success all the time.
Interesting that they call it the Switch 2, or if it is called a Switch 2
Yeah. I
also.
wonder what it'll be
Uh,
called. Yeah.
I think that they are definitely traumatized by the whole Wii U
Oh, yeah.
transition.
Ooh.
And to be fair, Super Switch does sound like a better version of the Switch. as
It
opposed to
does.
the next generation of Switch, right?
Instead of Switch 2. I think Switch
Yeah.
2 would be much cleaner and for people to understand.
Switch 2, like there's no question about it. Oh, this is the next Switch, as opposed to the Super Switch. Well, like, is it
Yeah, the
enhanced or
Super
whatever
Switch
like
should
that?
be, your pro model, I guess, if you do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
Especially with the vernacular changing so much these days over stuff like that. So yeah, it was always smart that PlayStation called their next PlayStation console PlayStation 2. They did that shit before iPhone.
yeah,
You know,
they're ahead of the game, man. Yeah, and
iPhone
it's
didn't
just
even do
so
iPhone
clean.
2. iPhone didn't even figure it out until iPhone 4. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
iPhone 3G was only called iPhone 3G because of 3G. So it
Yeah.
was PlayStation that broke ground when it comes to naming things as the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And Switch 2. I would not be bad about calling it. Just call it. We'll just call it the Switch again. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like I say, oh, let me get my iPhone 15. All
Yeah.
right. Oh, this is my iPhone. It's fine.
Yeah. I get it. The idea of this thing being DLSS capable is interesting to me. It's Nintendo having some sort of more future/normal tech nowadays, I guess, because they're always so far behind, I feel like, from a technical standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing didn't have DLSS, but the fact that it's going to be DLSS capable is nice. So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, we got to be getting close to reveal, I'm assuming. I think the Switch was revealed in October of 2016, and we saw it, and I think it came out in March 2017. So we could easily see it in a month or two, which will be very exciting. So we got a lot of questions, a lot to learn. But yeah, very exciting.
That'll be
Stuff.
huge
We're
for our
getting
show
close.
too. Hopefully.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. We're going to do some closing questions from the audience. We got a bunch of stuff related to Switch 2 in here. But in case you want to send in right into this show, I put up a thread every Sunday, right? Call for your submissions and all that good stuff. You can just find the punching up thread there, put whatever you want us to read, and we'll put it on the show. All right. This first question is from Carpenter Stepson. Howdy, Brick Fisters. As someone who loves Nintendo IPs but struggles playing them on the stinky Switch, I have found myself more frequently diving into PC emulation as I await the hopefully less stinky Switch 2. This unexpectedly led me to discover the world of unofficial fan games and mods, such as the recent released Super Mario Eclipse, a vast sunshine mod, and Super Mario and the Rainbow Stars, a fan game closer in the style of traditional 2D Mario, as well as a plethora of Pokemon ROM hacks. My question for y'all are as follows. Have you ever tried exploring these less than official Nintendo S experiences? And do you think their existence is morally permissible in a world dominated by intense copyright claims? Thanks so much for all the entertainment you provide, and you certainly make my 9 to 5 days more tolerable to get through. All right, Gene. Nintendo hacks, game hacks. Have you ever done one? Have you ever considered doing one?
No, obviously I consider Nintendo emulation, and I've done it before too, right? But I've never played any like fan games or fan hacks or anything like that. Maybe this is a mental block of mine, right? But I'm not interested in a Mario game made by anyone else other than Nintendo.
Sure.
I'm just not.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm just not. Which is part of the reason why I don't play Mario Maker levels. I want a Mario level designed by Nintendo. You guys make Mario levels, so make one.
Yeah, not by little Billy in Arkansas or something.
I engage art with the artists.
Yeah.
So if I don't know who the fucking artist is, then I don't then that doesn't really interest me. So.
Sure, yeah.
So, like I'm playing Echoes of Wisdom, and I know Grezzo did it, and I know Nintendo did it. I know AG, I like the Ask the Developer thing. I like that AG Onuma is very, very hands-on. There's a lot of people where AG Onuma is only the producer. He's not really doing much. And it's like, no, nothing in Zelda goes without his say-so,
Right.
Everybody has to check in with him. And it was his idea to turn Echoes of Wisdom into a copy and paste Echoes game, It came from him. This is still his idea, even though he didn't make the game. Echoes of Wisdom at its current form would not exist without that. And I like that. I like that it came from someone I trust, as opposed to, like you said, Billy from Arkansas or Louisiana or whatever like that. It's like, some Russian kid or whatever. It's like, I don't know about that. So, it just, I don't even care about morally, blah blah blah, whatever like that. It's like I like engaging with the artist, and I like knowing who the artist is. So.
Now, does this carry over to other things as well, like Elder Scrolls mods?
Yep.
Would you ever play those, or are you just like, nah?
Yeah, I don't play those either. I don't play those. Like Fallout London. Fallout London is tricky though, because Fallout London is made by really a veteran Bethesda people and people who have worked on Fallout. So that's a little different. That probably sits right on the edge of where my personal preference is. But if it's an Elder Scrolls mod where this is a new adventure by so and so or whatever like that, I'm not interested. I don't care.
Okay.
It's not. I don't care. I get that that's entertaining for a lot of people, and I'm not poo-pooing on that. I'm not saying that it's a lesser form of art or whatever like that. Which is why I preface this with, I think this is a mental block of mine, right? But it is. I do want to understand the artist, because I look at games as art.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at Mario games as like, oh, this is a challenge for me to overcome, and let me just play this and platform this. No. I want to know who it came from, and I feel like as I'm playing a video game, I'm communicating with the people who made it.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
As for me, I have some curiosity in trying out some of these kind of mods. There is recently an Ocarina of Time roguelike that came out that looks really cool that I would like to play sometime. Some of these Mario things look kind of cool too. Like Mario Clips does look really fun to me actually, but it's like, I don't know if I just want to go through the hassle of getting it all ready. I think it's cool that people do it, but nothing's going to beat the real thing ever. Like you're saying, Gene. The real thing is, of course, the best, but I think it's cool that some fans make these passion projects out of these things. I mean, I think anytime you do anything with Nintendo, you're dancing with the devil, essentially, like that. You can get shut down any moment, but I respect people that do it, and I know there's a whole big community of people that do these kind of ROM hacks. So
yeah, totally.
I got no problem with it, and I think there's some cool ones, but just be careful.
Yeah, all. I mean, emulation is preservation. So ultimately, on principle, yes, keep preserving those files. But
yeah. Cool.
Otherwise, I'm just not interested in it. But keep going at it.
Totally. Yeah, totally. All right, this is from the Snack Squatch. Hey guys, since all the crew plans on playing Echoes of Wisdom, do you plan on doing a review discussion? I don't believe Punching Up has done a review discussion on a game yet. Thanks for all you do. I totally think we can do something with this. I want to have a review discussion conversation regardless about something. If it's a standalone video, if it's in another thing, I would like to do it just whenever we all finish it. But as we get closer to that time, it's probably something we'll figure out more, depending on who plays it in the on staff. Because Gene's played it already, I'm gonna play it. I think Ben's gonna play it. I don't know who's gonna play it. I think Dustin might. So whoever we can get, I would love to have anyone on to talk about it. Sounds very exciting to me. But as as everyone starts playing it and we just kind of move throughout the weeks, we'll figure it out more. But it's something I am not opposed to whatsoever.
Yeah.
All right. This is from Jared R. With the Switch 2 seeming to be somewhere in the middle of a PS4 Pro and the current gen consoles in terms of power, do you think it'll set a ceiling for sorts on third-party developers? Target for performance? Will running well on Switch 2 become the basic benchmark for most games? If so, do you think this is helpful or harmful or neutralize for the industry as a whole, or neutral for the industry as a whole? Could just focusing on optimizing for the lower common denominator help reduce costs in an excruciating expensive development market, or will it drag down the overall quality of gaming like many claim the Xbox Series S does? Thanks for all the great content. Okay, so
tough question.
Yeah, running the Switch to become the basic benchmark. So I think a lot of games are going to be like, we got to be able to run on Switch. Kind of like how Switch is now, or Switch 2. Kind of like how people are like, most people want their games on Switch if they can do it. Not everything, of course, can be on Switch, but Switch is a humongous audience with like a lot of gamers that buy a lot of games. So I think a lot of people are going to be always targeting Switch 2 as well, if possible. That could be excluding deals or whatever, stuff like that. But especially at this point in the generation, like a Switch 2 is out next year, let's say, you're going to get a couple good years of Switch 2 before we get PS6 or Xbox Omega Million, whatever it's going to be. I don't know, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we will see people targeting that, and I think it'll be fine for a while. But if once the new hardware starts coming in and it feels like it's being held back in some way, I don't know, like if we're starting getting Series S situations where the game's just like not running at all and it's preventing it from coming out on other consoles, that would be a problem. But I can't really see that happening. Like if a Switch version doesn't work, I can't see that therefore making a PS5 version not coming out or something that.
Yeah. It's not tied. There's the problem with the Series S is that fucking Microsoft has a clause, that parity clause, that every game that you make for the Series X has to come out for the Series S, and it has to be feature complete. The same thing. That's the only reason why the meme of Xbox Series S is holding gaming back is happening, because it's holding Xbox back. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that will not be the case with the Switch 2. If they can't make it for the Switch 2, then they won't. That's it.
Yeah. So
Cyberpunk never came out on the Switch.
Right. Yeah. I think being able to focus on Switch or trying to get games on Switch is a smart idea, but it won't prevent games from coming out. You're not going to get your Baldur's Gate 3 situation or whatever again, where they couldn't get to run on S and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, which is good.
Yeah. That's not going to be it. And also, look at what's going on in the market today. Number one, the Switch is still the most popular console.
Yeah.
And number two, everyone's still fucking playing on the PS4. And number three, everyone's still making PS4 games. So any concern about the cross-gen is only people who are only thinking about generations and thinking about the next step all the time. But the mass market is just fine with even 2012 hardware.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people really need to get out of their head. PS5 Pro is only going to sell a couple million. That's only for a few people. PCs, only a few people have a 4090. That is, you are not the mainstream. You are not the mainstream. Unfortunately, I wish games would push tech too, right? But then that would mean only releasing these games on PC. But then the market reality is like, oh well, we need to be on all these other platforms to be able to make up the game, right?
Yeah.
Crisis was a game that pushed PC tech forward to the point where Crisis is still a beautiful game today, right? But Crisis was an absolute failure in terms of the market. It did not make its money back, but it did push the tech. So the games industry is trying to find this balance of pushing tech but also making money. And it's just not the pushing tech is not gonna make money, because we tried that already with Crisis and it didn't work. So that's why Cyberpunk couldn't just be a PC game. Would Cyberpunk have been a much better game if it was PC only? Absolutely, completely. We wouldn't have any of, and the PC version didn't have the problems at release, right? That's why Cyberpunk got good reviews, because we all played the PC version and the PC version was fine. But the fact that it was a PS4 and Xbox One version that held the industry back, but then CDPR knew they could not just release Cyberpunk only on PC. Right. They had to release it on PS4 and Xbox One to make any kind of money, and they did make a ton of money.
It did, yeah.
Cyberpunk was held back, but that's what all games are right now. All games are being held back right now, because if you push tech too far, like Hellblade 2. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, and I just think like how you're saying, people are playing on PS4 and Xbox One still. It's just like, because a lot of these games, these free to play games, like that are huge, like Fortnite and all that kind of stuff, you can still play on that until we start getting more experiences that you can only play on current gen hardware.
Mm-hmm.
People are completely fine just playing on whatever they got. Once GTA 5 6 is coming out, then we'll probably see a big spike in sales, I'm gonna assume, of people finally moving over, because they finally have to move over. But if you give people the option to just keep playing on their console, a lot of them are completely fine with that. They're totally fine. They don't
Yeah,
need the best graphics.
yeah, and you're right that there's just no series that's been like that. Final Fantasy might have been it for me, but as we're quickly learning, Final Fantasy is a niche audience, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Final Fantasy might have been big for like the PS3 audience or whatever back then, right? But or the PS2 audience back in the day. But now in 2024, 2023, the new Final Fantasy 16 is not going to cause people to buy a new PS5. No, it was EA
Yeah.
College Football that moved the needle for some people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
then
it's gotta be
it
those
would probably need to be
sports
GTA
games.
6. It needs to be a huge game that's only
GTA 6, yeah.
possible on these platforms, and we just haven't had that.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I love Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It's my favorite game on PS5. Niche audience still too. It's not going to cause a ton of people to buy a PS5. It would have for me,
Yeah.
but there's only a few million of us.
Yeah, not enough for like probably the vast majority of people.
Yeah.
All right, this is from Dong Schnutner. Jeez. What's good, box punchers? What kind of launch games are we anticipating for Switch 2? A new 3D Mario seems possible. It's been a long time since the last one. Zelda's probably not happening for launch. Metroid Prime 4 might be cross-gen title, but other than that, what is there? Animal Crossing? Star Fox has been missing for years. Smash Bros doesn't seem likely. Maybe a new Mario Kart finally? Let me get your Switch 2 lineup wish list. But also, what do you think will definitely be there day one? Okay. Let's start with the wish list, Gene. What do we want as the wish list for Switch 2?
Well, the feasible one will be the Mario because it's been ages. It's been longer between Mario games than it ever has been between Zelda games at this point now, right?
Yeah.
At least the 3D Mario games.
3D Mario.
Yeah. Zelda definitely not happening. Metroid Prime 4, right? I'm gonna guess that there's gonna be a new IP.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Like an ARMS kind of thing.
Exactly.
They always do like one ARMS thing.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a gimmick game, like 1-2 Switch or something like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
For Switch 2, whatever features the Joy-Con's going to have, like Super HD Rumble. I don't know, whatever they're going to do. I can just totally see some little party game like that as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So some kind of weird new IP that'll, highlight the game or something. So,
Definitely think Metroid Prime 4 will be on it.
Yep.
Launch game. But like we were saying before, probably cross-gen. On Switch and Switch 2. Animal Crossing is an interesting one. I think it's too early for Animal Crossing. It'd be amazing, but I can't see it.
Yeah,
Animal Crossing is never usually super early in the life cycle. Mario Kart, I think it's going to take a little time.
That'd be great, yeah. But
especially with all that DLC they pumped into 8.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think it's time for a new Mario Kart.
Definitely time to upgrade the Mario Kart.
So, realistically, though, I definitely think it's going to be some sort of Mario game. Hopefully 3D Mario. Like a new 3D Mario game. Metroid Prime 4 on Switch 2. Probably some new IP, like Gene was saying, like some sort of ARMS game, something we haven't seen before, something weird. And like a party game. And you know what? There's just going to be like a Ubisoft port or something like that.
Oh yeah, totally. Tomb Raider, all three Tomb Raider games because they're on every platform. And yes, probably Assassin's Creed Shadows. Why not?
Yeah,
Ubisoft always shows up. Always shows up.
It'd be really cool to see like Final Fantasy 16 or 7 remake on there.
Oh man,
the launch game. Yeah. That'd be really cool to get some Square stuff on there. But yeah, Mario again, I guess is like the more surefire thing, real thing, and of course Metroid Prime 4,
Metal Gear Delta, maybe.
Metal Gear Delta, yeah, could be on there. Yeah, totally. But hopefully we won't have to wait too much longer to find out. It's gonna be an exciting time, man. Console launches with the launch lineups are always so fun, so good. Yeah, because you always get some like weird games that you only see at launch times, and that's it. Like Knack.
Yeah, like Knack.
We did get Knack. We got Knack 2, I guess, but whatever.
Snipper Clips,
Snipper Clips, which I love. Man, I love Snipper Clips.
That was a good game.
All right. This is from Willie Wanker. How much do you think the Super Super Nintendo Switch will cost. I think Nintendo will wait for as long as possible to announce the price. The Japanese yen is weak, and I think there is no way that Nintendo will sell the console for more than 50,000 yen. The Switch has always been around 30,000 to 40,000 yen. It's a kid's toy. Going to the 50,000 yen range makes it not a kid's toy. 8 out of 10 kids have a Switch in their home. Of course, it's anecdotal, but I think there is no way the next Switch will cost more than 450 US dollars.
Mm.
Yeah, I was speculating
Mm-hmm.
anything from 400 to 500, I guess. I could see 450. 500 I could also see. 400 seems the least likely to me though nowadays, especially with the yen being so poor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yeah,
just like, I
but
don't know.
this reader brings a good point. If
Yeah.
Nintendo wants to be the family system,
Yeah, that's true.
you need to be family priced, and yeah, $500 is definitely a little bit more of an investment. You know,
Yeah, it is.
that's a tech investment at that point, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think from a Japanese standpoint that makes total sense, but I guess they'll be looking at the whole world market or
mhm,
whatever makes more sense for them.
mhm.
I think I don't think PlayStation's going to take a lot of ground from them in Japan as
No,
far as being the dominant console, cuz I mean, PlayStation 5 is even more expensive
mhm.
and doesn't have a handheld option like Switch does. So I think it'll be okay, but that will be probably a steep pill to swallow for some people. I'm just expecting stuff to be more than we expect nowadays, all tech stuff.
Mhm.
But what do you like? What price do you think, Gene, it'll be in the U.S.?
Yeah, I'm thinking four to 450.
Okay,
Yeah,
4 to 450.
yeah, I think 300 is impossible at this point. So
Yeah.
um,
There's no way.
300 would be amazing. Oh my god, dude! But that would be a miracle. If it's 300, then Nintendo wins completely. You know.
Yeah, I
But
don't think they can afford to make it 300 unless they want to
but
lose a lot
yeah,
of money on it.
the thing about Nintendo is that they don't subsidize their consoles. The
No.
consoles are always profitable from the minute you buy one. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
whatever they're doing, I wonder if they're going to continue that tactic, and if they change it, that'll be interesting because you know the Switch did sell more software sales than any other Nintendo system ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that could be a factor into their calculation. And it's like, okay, well, maybe we can lose a couple bucks here and there when we sell Switch because we're going to make it up in games. But you know,
Yeah.
but
Hard to say.
that would again signal the times are changing. Indeed, you know, Nintendo doing
Yeah.
something different. You know?
Dude, and you got to factor in possibly a new Switch Pro controller if the old ones don't work for some reason.
Oh man.
So that's like another $80 or something like
Oh,
that.
dude! If they work for on the new system, that'll be so
It'd be
huge.
sick. Yeah, it'd be
It'll be
sick.
so sick, dude.
I'm
People will be so
expecting
happy.
it not to, but I would love it if it did.
Yeah. Because these are pretty expensive, and I have a ton of them too. So it's
Yeah,
like it'd
so
be
yeah,
nice to be continuing to use them.
controllers are expensive, dude. It's pretty insane.
They're
I know
so
there's a lot of
expensive
tech.
these days. It's crazy. They're more
Yeah,
expensive than the games, you know, which
yeah,
is
yeah,
fair, I guess. You know, you can't play the games without them, but you know,
yeah. It's just like $80 for Joy Cons, man.
yeah,
Jeez, it's crazy. But yeah, my guess is 450. I'll guess 450. But if it's 500, I won't be surprised.
yeah.
All right, final question from Andreas. Dear Puncher Uppers, seeing as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate are the biggest games in their franchise with content galore, where do you think these franchises will go for their next iteration? Will they make Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Deluxe with 200 playable characters and 200 stages, or do they reinvent the wheel for their next game? Thanks for reading. Well, I think the next Smash Brothers is going to be pared down significantly. I do not think we're going to get an ultimate lineup for Smash characters for a very long time,
Mm,
just because there's so many characters and stages, and I think dealing with all the licensing for all that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm sure they could get it done if they wanted, but I just can't see the next Smash coming out with every character that we've had already, plus a bunch of new ones. I feel like they're going to go back to the drawing board and just kind of thin it out a little bit. Maybe take out like 5 Fire Emblem characters, a couple cuts here and there.
Yeah.
Put Waluigi in there maybe for once, for God's sakes.
Finally, yeah.
What do you think though? You think they're gonna go big still?
I don't know, man. I honestly haven't even thought about what the next Smash could be, because I feel like Smash Ultimate was, I don't know.
The end?
I feel like I kind of don't want another one, actually. You know,
I want one with good online.
Huh?
I want one with good online.
Sure, yeah, but I kind of feel like I don't really need one, you know, because
Sure.
Ultimate lived up to his name, you know. Ultimate
it was the Ultimate,
you know?
yeah.
How much more Ultimate can you get? So yeah, I like what you're saying. Like if they did pare things back and they added some interesting features or techniques or tweaks to the formula, that'd be cool. If they actually decided to innovate on the Smash formula as opposed to iterate, you know, that would be really interesting. And I wonder what Sakurai would be thinking about that. But yeah, I feel like it would be such a huge headache to just try to recreate Ultimate again. I think Ultimate was meant to be Ultimate, and maybe they'll pare it back, and you know, and also paring it back at launch is not a bad idea, because think about the DLC season passes and how exciting that was, and how that whole streak of announcements kept video games very exciting. You know, it was very sad when Sora was revealed as the last one. It's like, wow, like this is the end of an era. Like the whole hype season of Smash reveals is over. You know.
Yeah.
So I think they would want to recreate that. You know, and
you
know,
totally.
If only Concord did the same thing. You know.
Now
we have DAW. You know.
Yeah.
Analytics.
Yeah, I just think the days of, you know, Sephiroth, Cloud, Sora like being on the roster are kind of gone, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, I would love it, and like the Dragon Quest hero, I'd love all those characters to be around, but I just think they're just gonna go away for a while. Not to say they can't return down the line as DLC or something like that, but
exactly
the next Smash game, I think will just be much more tight knit right off the bat. What they could do is a way more robust story mode, like single player.
Exactly.
Mode.
Bring it back
get
to
really crazy with
what they did in Melee or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just get real crazy like that. I want them to compete with like Mortal Kombat of like campaigns that people love. That's what I love to see. In terms of Mario Kart, like what they're saying, Mario Kart's just gonna be like Mario Kart 9 or whatever it's gonna be. It's not gonna be as big as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is now with all those DLC characters. I don't think so.
They're gonna be building back up to it.
They're gonna scale it back more as well.
I'm wondering if it'll have some kind of a unique spin to it, because Mario Kart 8 was pretty straight. It was just a Mario Kart.
It was like their spin, I guess, was like the hover kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like hover the gravity.
Oh my god, Mario Kart fucking came out so long ago. I forgot that was even a spin.
So long ago.
Oh my god. I feel like I've been playing Mario Kart 8 since I was a kid, man. Jesus. It's probably going to be some new mechanic or something, like a double dash or whatever, which is still my favorite Mario Kart. But yeah,
I could see them making it more like Smash, having more Nintendo characters in it.
Totally, they were already kind of leaning into that with the DLC.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. We had Link, we had the Inklings and all that kind of stuff. I could see them putting Samus in there, maybe.
Oh my god, dude!
Actually, Captain Falcon, maybe
her ship cart, right?
Yeah. Maybe someone from Wave Race. I don't know. They could throw in a bunch of Nintendo characters in there if they want, but
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, they had Animal Crossing. Yeah, so do more
Animal Crossing characters in cars. You
know. Yeah, they had I forgot her name, the dog that everyone likes.
Yeah, Isabelle. Yeah,
Isabelle. That's it. Yeah. But I could see them doing that kind of stuff more down the line. But very exciting. We're all just kind of anticipating or eagerly anticipating Nintendo's announcements, whatever they're going to do. Because it looks like the year is over for Nintendo that we know of. And we know of Donkey Kong Country Returns coming out next year on Switch. So that's something. But other than that, we don't really know a whole lot as far as I'm aware. So exciting times ahead. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. Hopefully they announce something relatively soon. Could be a month.
Kyle Bozeman recommended a Donkey Kong launch game. That was just
who said that? Kyle Bozeman?
Totally. Kyle. Yeah.
Oh, Kyle Bozeman. Yeah. I mean, Donkey Kong launch would be amazing.
Yeah, he was.
I mean,
Donkey Kong launch would seal it. And I was like, yeah, totally. Actually, that would be so exciting.
Yeah. Kyle likes Donkey Kong a lot too, so we're on that same track.
Yeah.
But I just think Mario's probably the most likely thing.
I'm gonna lose my shit at the next Mario trailer. It's gonna be amazing. So
the dream is the Mario and Donkey Kong game, team up game. 3D platformer like that.
Mario and Donkey Kong 3D platformer.
Yeah, man.
That would be the Astro Bot for Nintendo for sure.
Yeah, let them team up, dude. I just need my boy Donkey and Donkey Kong in a 3D space again.
Yeah. I want 3D Donkey Kong too.
He needs redemption, dude.
Yeah,
he needs it. Cool, man. That's it. We're done for this episode, Gene. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, everybody, Michael will be back next episode. She was just feeling a little under the weather, but we'll be back to the full crew soon enough. Thank you, everybody, for listening, watching, submitting questions. We greatly appreciate that. Gene, you said they could check out your review in Washington Post by the time they hear this. So check out Gene's review of Echoes of Wisdom. And anything else, Gene, you want to plug?
No, not really. I just wrote an appreciation for Hideo Kojima, where I kind of analyze 7 of his different works, including his book, The Creative Gene, which I highly recommend. I think if you want to understand Kojima well, you should read The Creative Gene. A lot of people are like, oh, well, he doesn't even talk about game dev or anything like that. I think he personally talks about game dev the whole time, because for him, I think the process of game dev is reading a lot of books and watching a lot of movies and thinking about them. That is his creative process. He is always reading a ton of books and watching a ton of movies and thinking about them. That is his creative process. So you should read the book.
Yep. Awesome.
But check out my piece. Hideo was retweeting it all weekend, which is fun. So
yeah, that's great. Love to see that. Awesome. Yeah. So check that out, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. And we will see you in the next episode. Take care of y'all and have a good one. Goodbye.
Punching Up, a Nintendo podcast, is a product of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show is written and produced by me, Dustin Furman. My co-hosts are Gene Park, Dagan Moriarty, and Micah Watson. The show is edited by associate producer Ben Smith. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. Punching Up, along with the rest of Last Stand Media shows, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest tier, and we're grateful for your kind contributions and generosity to our independent endeavor. Thank you.